to behind the peace. So whatever was said in that meeting, I condemn it in the strongest terms, because the idea is to cause division, to incite the people of this region against people of the other parts of this country. Na kile sisi tunataka ni mambo ya kuleta taifa letu pamoja. Siasa za leo na sicheza vizuri siko na potential ya kuharibu nchi yetu. We should not forget that this country, where it was in the year 2007, was because number one of the leaders that permanently preached it, that permanently preached disobedience of the rule of law, and that permanently, after elections were announced, refused to accept the election results, and finally refused to subject themselves to the rule of law. So President Uhuru Kenyatta, in the standards by which you will be held accountable by the people of this country and the international community, is higher than anybody else. So what we would expect right now is to have a tone whereby we continually preach peace, where we continually preach the obedience of the law, where we continually preach or commit ourselves to building institutions that are able and ready to safeguard the integrity and the interests of this country, other than a situation whereby we find people vilifying institutions, vilifying courts, vilifying all parliament and anything else. So watu wetu kile nasema, Kenya ni yetu sisi sote, tudumishe amani, tuhubiri amani, and let's all remain peaceful despite the provocation, despite the blackmail that we are getting from war quarters, and say Kenya must remain united, we must one. But we must be ready to protect our sovereignty. We must be ready to protect our right to elect the leaders that we want, and we will not take it lying down that we will be forced to elect somebody that we do not feel is qualified enough to represent our interests. And I also want to remind the president that even as we try to preach hate, let it be remembered that this country, in the year 2007, you are not a presidential candidate. You are supporting Uhuru Kenyatta. You are supporting Mwai Kibaki. William Ruto was not a presidential candidate. He was supporting Raila Amolo Odinga. And when the national account was signed, which we participated in building, we signed and we forget all these things so that we can heal the country. It is not necessary, it is not right to continually remind us of what happened that particular time, because each one of us knows and each one of us has some pain of what happened. So then faster we forget about it. Let us not evoke emotion. Let us not remind people of what is not necessary for now, and see and then get prepared on how we can build a better united Kenya. And I am sure with that in mind, the only advice I can now be able to give is that as about the going end of state, please leave the people of Kenya to elect the leaders they want. That is a legacy that will remember you for, because you know what happened when President Moi trying to push you as his candidate to the Kenyans. They said no. When you push Raila Odinga to us, we have said no to him and will not vote for him. So the most likely is that you won't get embarrassed when he is not elected and you plunge this country into unnecessary chaos. Thank you. Wakitungangana hapa, tukotini ziko, where we'll have now to deal with the issues of constitutionalism, of the bills that are being pushed through, where we shall deal with the environment under which law was being passed. And I think with the current judiciary, we'll be able to establish whether the environment under which whatever law was enacted really meets the required standards for it to be referred to as a law that must bind or must be respected by Kenyans. Na mwisho niseme nimeona juzi katika mitandao tarehe kama 21 ama 22 rais wetu wa Kenya akiwa na mkutano kule nyumbani kwake. Mkutano wote ule ni kulingana na vile nimesikiza umekuwa ulihudhuriwa na watu na ambao yale mambo yaliweza kuongelewa kule ni mambo ambayo ama yale rais mwenyewe aliyaongea ni mambo ambayo yako na nia ya